What is the goal of the Breakthrough Prize?
The goal of the Breakthrough Prize is to draw, as much attention to science as we pay attention to sports and television and so forth. After all, scientific breakthroughs, if you look at the past couple centuries, are what has allowed our civilization to prosper.
You are one of the biggest proponents of moonshot discoveries on the planet. You also run one of the world's biggest companies. So how do you decide which problems to tackle?
There's really no magic secret to it. There's not like there's some formula which tells you if you're going to do this problem, then that problem, then the other problem, you'll magically achieve success. I mean, it comes down to some preference, some intuition, and mostly, truthfully, comes down to luck. But if you never try, you know you will not succeed. And by trying in areas that you think might be fruitful, then eventually you are likely to end up with a success.
Why do you think that scientists haven't been revered the way that movie stars, musicians, athletes have been up until maybe now, the Breakthrough Prize?
That's a great question. I mean, Einstein was revered, I would say. So there's definitely one example, and probably Newton before that. But definitely not as much so. I couldn't rattle off, 100 scientists that everybody would know who they are. I guess Stephen Hawking is also revered today in terms of living scientists. But it definitely takes, time and effort to appreciate the work. Watching a 2-hour movie is pretty easy, and then you say, oh, there's the movie star.
Right.
And, you're probably going to have to spend, at least a couple months learning about some subject to appreciate new work. But I think it's well worthwhile, and I think we can add to people's interest to go ahead and do that through events such as the Breakthrough Prize.
What is your message for the incoming administration in regards to scientific research and funding scientific research?
Well, I'd say if you look back, look back 300 years and what we see in the world today, there have definitely been substantive political changes and so forth, but the bulk of what would shock a person from then coming to the world now is the technology that has evolved from all the scientific discoveries that we have experienced. And so fundamentally, it's the scientific progress that determines the future more than anything else. And if you let that go, then you're basically saying, I don't want to participate in the course of the future.
Do you worry that there is a risk that could be the outcome here?
I think whatever the federal government does, there's still plenty of folks that are working in science, and regardless of what the U.S. does, there's still plenty of folks working in science around the world. But if the U.S. wants to stay as a nation state at the forefront of the future, then abandoning science, I think, would be foolish.
This is wonderful that we're here in our black tie attire at this beautiful event, but what else can parents, can companies, can teachers do to encourage our youth to go into the field of science and mathematics?
I think the number one thing is to make it fun. I mean, when it comes down to it, the reason I do what I do today, even though I enjoy being successful in this area or that, but that's largely luck also. Really, the secret is that I enjoy what I do and it's fun, and that's how I was taught, starting from elementary school, that math and science were fun, and that's what I enjoy today.